ever imagine like a world where a major oil-producing nation, just says, enough. We're not importing fuel anymore.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
But that's exactly what Nigeria's government just announced. And get this. All we have to go on is this like short text conversation. No big press release.
Yeah.
No like detailed plan, nothing.
Interesting.
So let's just dive in and see what we can unpack here.
Okay, yeah, let's try to figure this out.
So the main thing in this text is that like Nigeria says they're going to stop importing fuel, right?
Right, and that's huge because like you said, Nigeria's been a major oil exporter for decades.
Right, right.
But their refining capacity, like their ability to actually process that oil into usable fuel has been a problem for a long time.
So it's kind of like they've got all these ingredients, but they can't like bake the cake.
Exactly. You've got the oil, which is like the main ingredient, but the refineries, the places where the oil is turned into fuel, those are like the ovens. And those ovens are old. They break down a lot.
Right.
There's even been like accusations of sabotage and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, they've had to rely on importing fuel, even though they're sitting on all this oil.
Yeah, that seems kind of backwards, right?
Right.
It's like having a bakery, like I said, but then still buying bread from the store every day.
Exactly. Exactly. You'd think they'd be baking enough for themselves.
Yeah, totally. And to add to all of this, Nigeria has these huge fuel subsidy programs, right?
Oh, yeah. Those are massive.
Which, like, try to keep fuel prices low for people.
Yeah, for the citizens.
But they're costing the government a ton of money.
Oh, yeah. Billions of dollars every year.
Seriously?
Yeah. Like in 2022 alone, they spent almost $10 billion on these subsidies.
Wow.
Which is like almost a third of their total revenue, like what the government takes in that.
So they've got these, like, old refineries, expensive subsidies, and now they say they're cutting off fuel imports.
Yeah, it's a bold move.
It is. Like, what's the plan here?
Well, there are a couple ways to look at it.
Okay.
Some analysts think this is about, real energy independence.
Right.
Like they're finally trying to break free from this cycle of imports that's been costing them so much.
Makes sense.
They say that if Nigeria invests in, fixing up their refineries and actually producing more fuel themselves, they could actually, like, control their own energy future.
Yeah, be their own boss.
Exactly.
But can they really pull that off? I mean, like I said, those refineries have been pretty unreliable, haven't they?
Right, and that's what the critics are saying. They're like, this is more about politics than, good economics. They point to all the times the government tried to fix the refineries before, and it just didn't work.
Oh, so this could all just be for show.
Well, some people think so.
Okay.
They think maybe the government just wants to look like they're doing something about fuel prices because people are getting upset.
Right, like a distraction.
Yeah, potentially.
It's a pretty big distraction.
Yeah, it is. And then on top of all that, you have to think about, like, the global picture.
Right.
Nigeria's a big player in OPEC, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries.
Right.
And this move could have, like, a ripple effect on oil markets around the world.
Yeah, true. So what do you think? Will this give them more power, or could it actually backfire and make things even worse?
That's the big question, isn't it? Like, if they can actually pull this off, it could give them more control.
Yeah.
But if it fails, it could lead to, like, even higher prices and more instability in the oil market, It's a gamble, for sure. And we can't forget about the people in Nigeria who are actually going to be affected by this.
Right, of course.
If this all works out and they actually manage to get, like, a steady supply of affordable fuel, that's going to be huge for them,
Yeah, that would be amazing.
But if it fails, it could mean shortages, price hikes,
Right.
maybe even, like, social unrest, people getting upset.
Yeah.
There's a lot riding on this.
Yeah, no kidding. So here we have this country trying to break free from fuel imports, facing a ton of challenges.
Right.
And potentially, like, changing the whole global energy landscape, right?
Yeah, for sure. This is a much bigger deal than just a news headline.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, like, what does this mean for the future of energy in Africa?
Yeah.
How are other oil-producing nations going to react to this? What can we all learn from this whole situation, whether Nigeria succeeds or not?
Yeah. It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
It is. It really is. So, we're going to keep following this story closely. And we want to hear what you think, too.
Yeah.
What does this mean for Nigeria, for the whole continent, for the global energy market?
It's a big question.
It is. It is. This deep dive, it's just the beginning. We're all in for a wild ride here.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
We'll see how it all plays out.
Definitely.
But it'll be interesting for sure.
Absolutely.